Okay, we're good to go. I was telling Gretchen earlier that there's two of me because my laptop, for some reason, the microphone won't work, so I had to switch it to my phone. So that's why there's a couple. There's an extra one of me. But okay, we were talking about how our outlines were going. How's yours going, Kelly?
I finished it at around 6 this morning.
Holy cow, that's early.
Well, yeah. My husband gave me a cold, so I was up at 4, and I was like, you know what? Let's just do this. So I just typed it up this morning at around 4.
Get it over and done with.
Finished at around 6. So that's done.
That's
Yay.
good. That's always a good feeling.
Yeah. Trying to be optimistic. Speaking of which, I kind of need to find them.
All right, so we're just supposed to discuss about our readings and any of the insights that you received from it or from your outline, what you guys kind of got out of it. So whatever you guys, I guess let's start with week 1. And the readings for that week were chapters 1 and 18, but it was just page 3 through 13 on chapter 1.
Oh, I read the whole thing. I guess that helped out for the next one.
Yeah, that's right.
Worked out.
For this week's reading. And I had to read it twice this week because I'm taking Family 150 as well, and they had us read that chapter. So I kind of just skimmed through it again, and I was like, sweet.
Yeah, you do read that. So yeah, I remember I took that last semester, so I was like, hey, it's the exact same, like everything is same. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm taking it this semester, so maybe it won't be so complicated.
Yeah, I pretty much, at least right now, like all that we're talking about is family life education and the importance of it and stuff. So it's kind of like super, super similar to this class. Yeah. So Kelly is doing a workshop. I'm doing a workshop. Are you guys, Gretchen, are you guys doing a workshop?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think all the groups are all one or the other, and this was like group 2 or something. So yeah, I'm workshop 2.
Perfect. What's your topic?
Mine's overcoming learned helplessness.
Oh, that's a good one. I remember her talking about that.
Yeah.
Perfect. What's yours, Gretchen?
Mine is strengthening relationships between spouses.
Oh, that's a really good one too.
That's a nice one.
And Kelly, you're doing sensory motor, right?
Sorry, what?
What's yours again? Sensory motor?
Mine was doing a sensory processing disorder in kids and other behavioral special needs, I guess. So that's mine.
That's awesome.
We'll see where it goes.
Cool. For my internship, I'm working with a lady who does retreats in Idaho for families for moms that have kids with disabilities. So
that's cool.
I should totally hook you up with her.
Yeah, that sounds neat. Yeah. I didn't know they had those.
Yeah, it's really cool. She's amazing. So, all right. Do any of you guys learn anything cool from week 1's readings? Any insights you gained?
Sorry, I'm messing with my headphones because things are really quiet on my end, so I'm trying to hear you guys better. So if you see me doing weird things, that's why. Just ignore me.
Don't mind Kelly.
Yeah, weird Kelly's doing stuff. Yeah.
No worries.
I feel like week 1 was like just I didn't take much from because of the fact that it was reduction.
Wait, say that again, because I only heard bits and pieces of that until the end.
I feel like from week 1 it was mostly an introduction, and so I didn't really take anything from it because I felt like I was figuring out what it is.
Mm-hmm. I know I like the it was kind of long, but I did like about it was it Abraham Lincoln that did those land grants. I like the idea of setting aside land for school so people can learn and teach it to the community. I just never thought of that process before, so I think that's what I liked about that chapter a lot was just that he was really focusing on really in like doing our own research in the area that we have where, it's both because the people know what their own problems are because it's different everywhere. Well, there's a lot of similarities, but I like the idea just is kind of like catered to like the community until of course now we have technology we can give to everybody. But I just like that.
I
I
put
like
that
the. Sorry.
on mine as well. I'll go for it.
No, I just think I have a delay. So go ahead, Madison.
Okay. I also put like Lindsay about the land grants for the school that President Lincoln did. And in Family 150 class, we watched a presentation from Brother Gardner, and he talked about that and how, the importance of it, and how they not only specialized in agriculture but also in families. And I thought that was really interesting. And now, like back then, like families were so important and were so central. Like people understood that, and now, people are moving away from families being the center of importance. And so, like when people ask, like, what I'm getting my degree in, and I say marriage and family studies, they kind of always are like, oh, cool. Like, what are you going to do with that? Like, it's not an important degree. But the more, like, I learn more about families and how important they are, and especially with the opportunity to do education to the class or to the community, like, I think this is such a crucial major to go into, because family is central. It's not only central in the kingdom of God, but it's central to our society, and I think really to our happiness as well. So I kind of got the same thing that Lindsay did.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the first chapter, I didn't take a whole lot of notes either. It was more of the introduction, kind of what you guys were saying. But I'm with you with the whole, when people ask me marriage and family stuff, they ask me if I'm going into social work, and I'm like, no, I can't handle social work. But I do like the idea of educating people. I don't know if I'll be a good teacher or anything, but I like that people can learn more about problems that they may be having in their families.
Mm-hmm.
I like that there's so many different jobs that you can have in it too. Like I like how each of us like are teaching completely stuff like are completely different, because everyone thinks like it's just like therapy or like social work, and they don't know if it's a big thing. And I think it's funny though too, because like people, when you say that their major, they do assume that. And I remember when I got into the major, when I was on a mission and I didn't have any classes picked out, so my parents picked all the classes for me. And then I laughed when my mom did all these like family classes. So I just laughed at it. And then all these ladies, like this person I wore, it's like, oh, that was my major. You'll love it. And so I felt really bad. I laughed at her about the major, but it's so true though. Like I don't know, like just being here, like just really helped grew my testimony on families. And so I like we've been talking about, like it's just so important. And I think even that first chapter, even though it's a lot like history stuff, I like it was their focus. Like they knew that was like the fundamental society.
Yeah. Absolutely. Trying to think. Another thing I took away is that you have to, one of the quotes on page 3, it said, to succeed in educating the public about family life requires somewhat different skill set than teaching students in a traditional classroom setting. And so that kind of stood out to me. And so as I've been reading, like since then, I've been trying to pick out some of those different skill sets that a family educator needs to have, because you are teaching adults and you're teaching different circumstances and in a different way. And then it also talked about statistics and how, what was the, I should find it, but it gave like a statistic that was like they compared smoking and how bad that is on your health compared to like relationships, and if your relationship isn't good, that's just as unhealthy to your physical health. And I thought that was really interesting, and so I put that, finding one or two good statistics like that and making it apply to the audience will help them learn that there is a problem, and that going to a workshop will really help them, will be really beneficial.
Yeah, I think a large thing with it is, workshops or whatever with people and families. They don't, I don't know. They think that it's more of a private thing, and so I think a lot of, like it was saying somewhere in this workshop reading, participation. Um, And I think a large part of the people not participating is because they don't want help. Does that make sense? Like, it's hard to get people to admit that their family has a problem or that there could be potential problems. And so to me, that seems like the biggest issue when it comes to like workshopping and getting participation, is like not having that stigma of something's wrong with me, something's wrong with my kids or my family, and now I have to go to this group. And I think that's a really big barrier that family life education kind of needs to break away from.
Absolutely. I think you nailed that.
Actually, I think
it's part of our culture too. I'll go for it.
Yeah, so I was thinking also, because maybe they also don't want to change. I was talking with I went to this pornography conference over in Utah a couple of weeks ago. But it was interesting because some person who recovered, he said, like, even when he was in jail, like, he didn't really want to go to those workshops. Like, it was almost like people went to it because they have to. And so I felt bad that that desire not to change. And so maybe, yeah, like you said, either they don't think they do have a problem, or think it's that bad, because it became so much of a private affair instead of that. I think, yeah, I don't think people look out for that help that they need.
Yeah, I think you're right. That stigma needs to be broken, that barrier. Perfect. Anything else from just the first week that you guys checked out?
I did like in chapter 18 when it was talking about the 5 issues that need attention in order for the family life education to be effective. I like the professionalization of it, because there's a lot out there on the internet, so much, where it's just people's ideas, or they're a writer, and so people assume that these writers are educated. I do sometimes. You take it at face value, and then sometimes you're like, this person's so smart, and then you think, well, and thinking a little bit more critically about things makes you realize how unprofessional some of these things can be. So I think that's a really good step for family life education, and that comes with the whole looking up scholarly things and basing it more on science rather than opinion, because most stuff is just based on opinion out there. But I think if you get some science and personal experience in there, I think it would be a lot more relatable to people. But I just really like that in the chapter 18. I was like, yeah, it'd be nice if we knew what we were reading was from a professional, not just someone that decided to write a blog post.
Yeah, absolutely. No, when you were saying that, it made me think, I took a infant and toddler development class. Have you guys taken that class yet?
Mm-hmm.
And they talked about like the overstimulation of toddlers, and how those programs like the Einstein or some of those other like educational programs that are meant for like babies, how they can actually be damaging to the development of the kids because of the overstimulation, but it's not grounded in scientific research. And so they say that studies have shown or whatever, but when you go to look for the studies, they're not there. And so so that, like you said, like sometimes it's so easy to be like, oh yeah, like this is such a huge thing right now, but there's not, kind of like a diet trend, like there's always a new diet trend, but it's not based off of sound scholarly scientific information. And so I think, like you said, it's important that we ground ourselves in that so that we can be reputable. And that was just interesting. That just made me think of that.
Yeah.
I picked
Gretchen,
that out.
Do you have anything? Okay.
I picked that out as well, like full professionalism and stuff, and how, like, with their sources, we have to be very careful where we're getting them from, and then also we have to check the credentials on them all the time because there's so much out there that's opinion based. We have to be really careful with it. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff out there, with the church and different things like that, but we have to be really careful with what we're using and not just, being professional, but also making sure that we're not being biased when we're presenting.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Not sharing our opinion.
I have a question about that. I wrote down this question. So on page 22 it says our personal values may also lead us to choose certain materials to teach, certain ideas while ignoring and giving limited exposure to others. And so, which totally makes sense. Like if I feel that pornography is bad, well, that's not a good example, but I might think one way, and so I'm going to find materials that support my ideas, and I'm going to ignore others. And so how do you do that? How do you make sure that you teach unbiasedly? Does that make sense?
That's a good question.
Yeah, oh, sorry. I was thinking oh wait, Gretchen, you can keep on going. Sorry.
I don't know how far along you guys are in your major, but I'm getting really close to being done. And so I've kind of had a lot of practice with it, with all the papers and different things that I've written. And the biggest thing is that you have to force yourself to look at the other point of view. You have to research the other point of view as well. And as you do that, you'll find things that are interesting from that point of view. And you have to kind of just let your mind open up to other possibilities than what you would originally.
I was thinking also, I like that she said that finding scholarly sources, that exercise, like to make sure it's like peer reviewed, helped a lot. When I was like looking, I like the idea that if other people did the study, or at least like matches, like if it's consistent. I think, at least I know for me that's what I guess I might research on, if there's multiple like articles and stuff that like the different research over the years is like consistent, then that's what I go for. Because I look at all the stuff and there's some maybe one or two weird ones, but I think if there's majority of it's like shows the way, or this is what the science says, then I go with that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it has to do with appealing to your audience as well. I think if you're going to, let's say you're going to do a thing on marriage communication and you're teaching LDS people versus just garden variety general public, I think you're going to focus on different points of view differently. So I would just say, like Gretchen and Lindsay were saying, you can be open-minded, take different points of view, and then take your scholarly sources, which are actual scientific sources, and then just kind of cater to your audience a little bit. I don't think that's being biased so much as just helping your audience and your participants the way that you want to help them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or the way that they need to be helped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that because it's also like a big thing in therapy. Like you're more kind of like working with like your client in a sense, but like I remember one time our family went there and to a therapist, and they said, what's your goals as a family? Like it's more like you said, cater to the your audience. You want all your research. You want to help them achieve their goals. So it's not necessarily what you think, but what they want to achieve. So I like what you said. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, if you're going to be with LDS families and stuff in communication class, it would be different than general public, where you might have some same-sex couples or single parenting, things like that. So I would just say just be aware of your participants and audience and just kind of cater to that. And then I think you can keep from being biased based on research too. So I think you'll be okay.
Yeah. I'm always scared of offending people. Like I remember I sat in a gospel principles class, and we had tons of new converts in there, and one of our teachers, she was talking about marriage, and all these people they've been divorced and they don't ever want to get married again, and I just felt like I don't want to sometimes it's hard to state the facts when when they have such strong opinions about marriage and how, I don't know, does that make sense? Like, it's so
Oh,
hard
sure.
for me personally. Like, I don't like to offend people, but at the same time, like, it is so important, and that's what the research shows. I think that's going to be a huge issue for me, is being able to be like, oh, I don't know. Especially if you have like the same-sex couples or something that are in your class, and you're kind of like, okay, well, let's just focus on the communication part instead of, like,
Yeah, like
it'll be interesting.
Yeah, you can always just be like, my strength or my background is in traditional families, so I can try and help, but really, like, you might, and that's more of a therapeutic thing, where if you were a therapist, be like, I could try. Whereas with a workshop, you could be like, well, they'll take away from it what they'll take away from it, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. Perfect. You guys are the best. Okay, should we move on to chapter or week 2?
Yeah.
Chapter
2. What I really liked was how they like talked about all the different kind of models, and then they combined it together. Was something that really stood out to me. In what was it, chapter 2? I had like written down individual model because I didn't realize that there was going to be like a comprehensive one at the end. And then when I got to the end, I was like, oh, this makes a lot more sense.
Right, yeah, I did the same thing.
To why we have to go through. But I think it was really interesting to see how like the different models had their different points of view, and to be able to see them all come together, and to see how, as you take something from this one and take something from that one, you get an even better program put together because you have more information or more ways to look at it.
Yeah, I always want to learn how to use like kind of all of them, so I can, I guess, use one if I need to. Like if suddenly if like a situation occurs with this method will be better, model will be better. I just can just whip it out almost, or use it.
Yeah, I definitely liked at the end of the chapter where it had it all comprehensive, and it looked a lot prettier than my little chicken scratch notes, and with the stages and everything. And to me, it made a lot more sense after I read it. Sorry, I'm looking at it right here. After I read it with this different stages, and it was broken down a little bit easier through the notes, it seemed pretty comprehensive. One of the things that, because we don't have a lot of time with this workshop in preparing it, it was the different stages. One was like pilot testing, and then advanced testing, and focus groups, and I was thinking, well, that would be great if I had like 6 months to do like a survey and a comprehensive study, and I was getting paid for this kind of stuff. But so on my notes, I kind of and on my outline, I kind of just wrote down what some of the stages were, like the pilot training and stuff. But I didn't go into a whole lot of detail in my outline. Do you guys think that's a bad thing?
That's probably okay.
Okay, good. But
Yeah.
that's kind of what I was getting from it.
I took the family stress and coping class last semester, and one thing that really stood out to me is in one section they talked about how important it is for the whole family to be involved in therapy, even if it's just one person that's struggling. One of the examples they used is one of the daughters got raped, and everyone was really quiet about it, and how it's important to do like the whole family in the session and to teach them, because everyone is grieving, and it affects everybody differently. And so in this chapter, it talked about how sometimes you can, like if it's applicable, like you can include the whole family in your workshops. And I thought that was really important because I think it helps teach perspectives. We each we each understand the situation and we each interpret it differently. And so as you have everyone, they can, the parents can see it from the kids' perspective, and the kids can see it from the parents' perspective, and they can kind of have a mutual understanding, and then they can learn and grow together. And I think it would be more effective. I mean, obviously for some it won't, but I thought that was something I got out of it, was when you can, to include the whole family in the workshops.
Yeah, I like that. Me too, because like it's just that big family like systems theory. I think it is one of the most powerful ones. Yeah, because everyone, and I guess it's also healthier too overall. Because like if you're, let's say your sister, like like was that the victim and she just went to therapy by herself, you don't know if she's okay. Like when she comes, like you don't really want to talk about. So like hush hush hush, but it shouldn't. I guess everyone should be able to kind of heal on their own. So yeah, I like the workshop idea for every whole family be involved.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. There's some things that, well, like even in Relief Society meeting, where we're kind of segregated and into different classes, and I just want to like share something, or like with my husband even, where I'm like, did you get, where I'd want to discuss or understand or what he thought of something, but he's not there, and it's kind of the same thing with family workshops and stuff. The whole family should be included so they can take home what they learned and then incorporate it in together and be able to have a more clear understanding of what they need to do and goals that they need to set and how to reach them. So I totally agree with that.
Sometimes it'd be kind of hard, but I think it would be really good. It also kind of talked about support groups a little bit. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I feel like I'm talking a lot, but
oh, you're doing good.
and so for my internship, like I was mentioning earlier, I'm helping plan another retreat for moms that have kids with disabilities, and so I sat in a meeting with all the committee members, and like the thing that I got out of it was how much they everyone in those retreats kind of like became friends, and they became friends outside of the workshop. And so, because you never know, like a professional can help you so far, but when they haven't experienced in themselves, they haven't gone through the pain or the different challenges, like it's hard to relate to them. But when you can create that support group, it's really beneficial. And so in the book it says like when you can, like try and get the parents or the families to form those support groups, and I think that would be really important to help them bond and help them be able to help each other outside once the workshop's over.
That's pretty cool. That's a cool internship.
Yeah,
that's cool. So yeah, I don't know. For me, I know it was awesome. But for me, for chapter 2, I don't really there's not too many notes. It's more stuff like what I would do. It's like, oh, this, or like stuff that doesn't really relate to the chapter. That's really bad. But no, there's like, I don't know, it's like on page 34, someone talking about, they were giving some example, and it was talking about how he helped like these families, like show them that they had strength within themselves, and that they can, instead of focusing on negative, that they focus on their strengths and to develop that. And of course, I'm like, we're all on that, because I'm like, hey, that'd be a good idea to really help. Another way to help people learn helplessness, because they usually go in this negative downward spiral. It's like, oh, I can't do this because of this, or like it's impossible, and they get stuck because they keep on going down. And so I just took that, and I guess that's what most of my notes are. It's most stuff like, oh, this is a cool idea, or it reminds me of another thing, so I write that down. And so it doesn't really have too much to do with chapter 2, but God made a lot of other good connections.
Well, that's good,
I
think
that's what she's looking for.
Yeah, I think that's better than what I was. Yeah, just taking the notes, and I think it's great that you're actually like applying it to what you want to do and how you want to do it with your workshop or just future stuff. Because I feel like this is all just in my face, and I'm trying to like process it, and then I can maybe facilitate it in. So So yeah, you got an admirer over here. Good job.
Okay. I know it's sometimes overwhelming too, like just all the text. But I just get, and I guess that's why I guess that's one of my strong points is I'm really good at connecting, but like remembering what it was really talking about, I don't. I was like, oh, I'm not sure I read, but I'm like, oh, but this I could use this for that, or like help the others with this. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because like one of the my last like thought, but one of my random tangents with chapter 2 was remembering this activity, because that first one reminded me about strengths, and then remembering me this activity I had at the Disciple Leadership Conference when I was up on campus last year. We had like some lessons about like rocks. Like we wrote on paper, like what do you think was like our biggest weakness or sin or burden or guilt or whatever it was, and we wrapped around this rock, and then at the end of the lesson there's like this huge big thing of all rocks, and so it's hard to carry it around, and so it reminded me of what I want to do for this is to help people, I guess, let go or accept that it's okay to have weaknesses or whatever it is, and for this particularly, we're supposed to give it to the Savior and to like help him take the load. But even if it's not all like church lingo, if I don't have just members there, I can still like teach that like application where you don't have to, carry carry all this like load or these weaknesses to hold you back. You can let go and I guess accept that. That it's okay to be imperfect, basically, and to, carry on. So that's what most of my notes are about, is random thoughts like that. But yeah.
I think that's really good. That's going to be really beneficial for you throughout the semester.
I hope. The only problem is there's like no science backing on it. I know that I can find so far. Like I was like, oh, it's a true principle, but now I need to find
the science to back it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm looking at this week 3, the chapter 16, and then chapter 1 notes. And I'm not sure what kind of teacher I am. Have you guys read that all through there yet? Like the philosophy of the teaching? I'm like, I don't know.
I picked like 3. I'm like, oh, that's cool like me, and then reading the next one, oh, but yeah, I can see that, and then it was not to work. I think I chose like the last one because it was like a hodgepodge of all of them or something, or like it basically says you can use whatever you want. But
yeah, like that's my goal. Yeah. I want to be more eclectic. Is that the right one? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But right now I'm just like I don't know. So I guess I need to figure out which one I'm comfortable with, I suppose, and work towards that eclectic one.
Yeah, I think also like what you were saying earlier about research, or like you put towards your audience. So I think like kind of like how a lot of are based on like your audience's needs. Like if it was better for lecture or for like one-on-one or for whatnot. So maybe like I think wherever you're teaching now or what style or audience that you need does make sense. But basically you could just choose one that'll help them the best and see if that works.
Makes me feel better. Try and figure it out.
Yeah. So, it's all new to us, so we'll figure out. We'll learn. Even if we fail, we'll learn. That's what I tell myself all the time. Even if like I totally don't help anyone, at least I know that doesn't work, and that the science method didn't work out well.
And like chapter 16 with the marketing stuff, that's to me, I'm like that seemed pretty like common sense marketing. Yeah, you need a product. You need like what's the price, the place, and promotion, and so I didn't take a whole lot of notes on that because that seemed more just common sense promotion. If you want people to come, you're going to have to do so many things. I took more notes on the chapter 1 pages, but. I don't know what you guys did.
Yeah. I'm having a hard time.
For that marketing, Oh, go for it, Lindsay.
Okay, I'll go. No, because I actually have questions about that because I read it and I started working on like what I would do for marketing. But I'm still struggling on the title because the title, you can't say learned helplessness or overcoming learned helplessness because one, not a lot of people know exactly what it is. Two, no one will admit that, even if they have it or not. And so I'm thinking of ideas, and they kind of help me with that, when we had that meeting with the teacher that one day. But I like the titles, except that I was worried that it would attract normal, healthy people, not people who need help. That's what we'll say. Like, it wouldn't attract my target audience. So I don't know how to. So now, yeah, I'm still thinking of a way I could, I guess, have a title or something to explain in a way that will draw people to it. So if you guys have any idea, I'm totally open for ideas. Because that
Well, I have
marketing thing is stuck. Oh, yes, I'm done now.
No, it's just that something popped in my head. It's just, the question of feeling stuck, because that's kind of what you were saying. These people might just feel stuck. And so that's a question that might get people thinking, am I feeling kind of stuck? And why can't I get out of this rut? And they might not be like self-aware of self-helplessness, but that is definitely the feeling that people have when they do feel helpless, is that they're stuck. So that might be something you might want to go towards. I don't know.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
Titles are always so hard.
Right.
I think I've changed mine like a million times. But one thing that's kind of helped me, that might help you, you guys as well, is that for one of my other classes, I had to do a bunch of research on different workshops that's available for families, for whether like marriage, singles, parenting, anything like that. And there's some really cool ideas out there. And one of them that really stood out to me, because it talked about marketing. This is probably more for chapter 2, but because it talked about the time, you want to make the place and the time kind of convenient for your audience. And so this county in Tennessee, they do a morning breakfast for dads 2 days a week, and it's from 6:30 in the morning until 7:30 for 6 weeks. Sorry. And they teach dads what that they're important in their kids' lives and why they're important and what they can do to be more involved and how to balance work and family life. And I thought that was so that's kind of cool to have a breakfast for dads. That's kind of a cool way to market
cool.
your workshop. And another one that I saw was for newly married couples or those that have just been engaged. And it's a kind of a camp retreat, but they just go out into the woods and they do a bunch of communication exercises and activities and learning how to learning positive communication and how to try the love bank, have you heard of that, where you're constantly making deposits, so forming those healthy realistic relationship skills. And I thought that would be really fun too. You get to go out and into the mountains, because I love the mountains, and you get to do a bunch of group activities, and so you're not sitting in a classroom setting where you're just the teacher's regurgitating information. And so it was just kind of cool to see how many people do different things with workshops and how creative and interesting they can be. Obviously, they take a lot more work, but they
I know, and money too. That breakfast.
Yeah.
I know some things. I'm I need to get some type of trigger or something to let them, to reel them in. But I was I don't know how this class is going to cost me a lot of money. So yeah, but I like that mountains idea because I'm right by the mountains. I like even just being outside and just nature. I think I like that idea a lot.
Mm-hmm. And in one of these chapters, it talked about partnership and how that's really important. And so whoever was over this this dad workshop, they worked with the county somehow, and so I think the county probably fitted some of the bill because the county could see how that was so important. And then you can also, grants are so hard. I've been trying to find grants for this retreat, and those are such a pain in the butt, but there are tons of grants out there. Or I guess if you charge your class, a lot of these, the one out in the mountains, I think they charge $50 a couple, which is kind of a lot, but at the same time, it's a fun workshop, it's not sitting in a classroom. I'd rather pay to go do activities. But anyways. So something fun, if we decide to do that in our future careers, to be educators, like we can kind of get more creative. It just opened my whole world of family life education.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't given it much thought yet. Like, family life education, like this class is really opening up my eyes to all kinds of stuff. So I like those ideas. Thanks. Like, oh, that'd be nice to like bribe people to come without them knowing you're bribing them. So yeah, it's a good idea.
I like to think of it kind of like as how they have treats at church events. People come because there's going to be, but they also learn good things while they're there, you know. But the main reason they're coming is because there's food, there's something that motivates them to actually get up and go.
Mm-hmm. Food is always a good incentive.
And another thing that one of the chapters was talking about was, you know, the convenience of location too. Obviously, with LDS people, it would be at a church. General public stuff. I mean, if it's convenient to go, they're more likely to. But I think if there's just one inconvenient thing, they'd be like, ugh, it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
many excuses. They're gonna find an excuse, right?
Yeah.
It's true. I think I was like, in a way, I think this class is making us big stalkers. Because, like, for me, I like, okay, I need to find that demographic, like, you know, find where that location is the best for my, you know, target audience. Or, like, you know, what times are the best? Like, I was talking to my dad, I'm like, what times are best for people to go and, you know, come to the workshop? Mm-hmm. And I realized, like, man, I need to find this out. Like, how am I going to do that? Like, you know, find my target, like, follow people who look like they fit my target audience and then stalk them. Like, you know, it's kind of, I almost feel like that, but, like, so, I don't know, hopefully I went to email this group because I'm hoping to piggyback off of this one group. So hopefully they will know a lot more information. But if not, yeah, I guess I'll get my hat or something for be like Sherlock Holmes and find out.
That's perfect. I'm not piggybacking off of anybody, and I wish I was, but I'm doing I'm doing it in two different places. So I'm doing one on one end of the town and one on the other side of town. And so the convenience one for like the whole community is like the library. And I reserved that room, and then I'm just doing one at the LDS church for like all the, you know, all my friends. But it's hard to find those places or to, anyways.
Yeah, one of my things I'm concerned about, because I may switch my target audience slightly and just focus on people in poverty and how to help them get out of it, because like sometimes they have that learned helplessness. So, but if they don't have a car, that's why I'm like, well, it'd be the easiest to like walk to, I guess. And so,
yeah,
that's what I'm trying to think about.
Is there a certain area? It's been so long since I've been in Utah, but is there a certain area in Provo that's like known for like to be the poor side of, you know, like in Salt Lake, like, you know, like, and so then you can kind of find like a library or something like in that part of town.
Yeah, there's like random chunks of it. It's hard because like Provo, and the teacher's totally right. It's kind of like the mental health capital of the state, because like it has this big hospital for mental health, and so a lot of people they send them there to get help, which is good because that means they're in the system, they are getting the help they need. But it just makes our demographic a lot shifted more because it's like it's very unique. But yeah, I need to find the best, and so I think that's why I want to piggyback with this one type of organization, because I also want kind of protection too, because like I don't know too much about mental health, and so, you know, and you don't know who you're going to get when these people come for community wise. Mm-hmm. And so like that's why I'm really hopefully they'll accept me, because I went to one, they were too full for the summer, and so I'm going to another one. But yeah, just to see like what is like the best for them, and where the target group is, because I already know where one group is because our whole stake is over it. Or like, because not everyone's members, but it's just us in the stake boundaries. And so I know, at least, the very least, I know where I can cater, or at least one of the flyers will go to is this apartment complex. But yeah, it's just really kind of like, it's fun, but I'm kind of a little bit nervous because of that demographic. But it'll work out. Oh wait, I had another. Sorry about marketing. Sorry, I keep on like talking. And my dad gave me this cool idea because he says therapists use it all the time. But I guess if you have a Gmail or a Google account, you can get. You may already know this. I guess basically a new phone number. Like it's still people call that number, it still rings on your phone, but it's not like they don't have your real number. So if you want to like add a phone for people to contact you, if you were flexible or if they needed help, you could like add that to it without giving out your real number. It was kind of pretty nifty for future reference. I don't know if you use it for the workshop, but it was kind of it was interesting. Yeah.
I had a friend that did that. I don't remember why he did that, but he liked it. I've never done it though. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Well, ladies, I have two boys that just got home, and I have to go to their therapy appointments, so I'm going to have to leave
That's okay.
a little early.
We've kind of summarized everything, so.
Okay, yeah, sorry. But they're being good right now. Let me say that way.
No worries.
But it was great meeting
Thank you
you guys.
for coming.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same here. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks. You guys just let me know if I can help you guys with anything. I'm really good at email and text, so well, not really good, but better than other communications. So
Okay, well, I'll email this link out to you guys so you can, because we each put it. Yeah. See you, Kelly.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. We'll see you guys later.
So we see if you guys can help me answer this question. So each of us post it onto the discussion board with our outlines. That's what we're supposed to.
I guess so. It's the safest way, because at least all of us will have it, and she'll just find out that we were all the same group. I guess we could put what group number we are, so she won't have to feel like she has to click every single one, because it'll be the same. So maybe, I guess, put what group, our outline, and then the link. Did you put as an attachment or something? Like, was it both, like the link as an attachment? I forgot. I need to read it, but yeah.
Yeah. I need to read it too. I just remember being like, I don't know why, can't talk. I just was confused as to if our outline was supposed to go on the board or not. Because I would think that would go into another, a Dropbox, but.
Me too. I wonder if she means
it's not another place.
Yeah, I wonder if she meant. Oh, I have to double check because I felt like it has to be with it, but I wonder if she just wants it as an attachment, so it's not like copy paste on the comment thing, so not everyone can read it unless they want to click on it. So maybe I think maybe that
the attachment would probably be best.
Let me read the syllabus. I think I have it up here because I get lost all the time. It just talks about what it should look like. Okay. Post the outline to iLearn. Okay, so that's not helpful. I wonder if it'll tell me if in the other thing, let's see. So you post a recording discussion along with your outline to the discussion board. Yeah, it doesn't really tell you how. Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I can post it. Well, I'll give it to all you guys, and I'll put it on the question and answer discussion board. She's usually really good at getting back really fast with that. And then if not, we'll just post everything on the discussion board.
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and stop this recording.